Hello! When I put the vocoder away in its box 4 years ago because it was getting drips of water dropping down on the boards from the shed roof, I had 3 of these fully built and these 2 which weren't fully built, and all that was missing on these 2 boards were these sockets. Now I have subsequently bought some of these sockets. So here are 2 more. These are called 805 sockets. And all I need to do, this one's the wrong way around, all I need to do is solder these 2 sockets into these 2 positions. And then this board, which is filters 3 and 4, will also be ready to add to the vocoder. So what I'm going to do right now is solder these 2 sockets in. Now filter 12, which in the last video was causing problems, I have now fixed, and it was the most unlikely and obscure problem. Just bizarre, but I'll come back to that a bit later. Let me get these 2 sockets in here, and then I can get the vocoder all wired up and start making some sound, and it will have 10 filters and should get quite intelligible speech. So you may have spotted these nylon nuts and bolts. You may not, of course. They're not needed on these now because these are soldered. Is that soldered? Yeah, that's soldered. So let's take these nuts and bolts off, because all I want to do is sort of loosely push these sockets down onto this board before I solder it. So let's get these nuts and bolts off. Right, let's put these in here, and today's bit of pedantry is I want the markings. Oh, can you see that? Don't think you can, but it says 805-12p. I want the markings facing out so that I can read them in 4 years' time when I come back to this and wonder what part number they are. So markings, can you see the markings on that one? No, because it's not really much light to reflect. Anyway, nuts and bolts in, and I will do them up just not tight enough to bend the board, but tight enough to push these down. Strangely, they don't sit completely flat on the board because these little shoulders on the pins actually extend beyond the bottom of this foot. So yeah, they don't sit completely flat on the board, but I'll just put a little bit of pressure on those and then get them soldered. The sockets are in and slightly pressed down onto the board, so I've got to solder these now. Now which ones are ground? I think it's that one. So I'll leave those till the last, because they may need a bit of extra encouragement in the form of a hotter iron, because the heat dissipates through the spokes to the ground plane. I'll only film one of these. I won't, no, I'll miss that one out just for the moment. Trying to make the solder flow fully around the pin. Right, let's press the booster. That'll take the temperature up to 400. Or is it more than that? Yeah, 400. And do the ground plane ones. Oh, the solder's got stuck to it. Oh, come on. Okay, I'll solder the other one off camera and we're ready to go. And that means that I can now add filters 3 and 4 to the project. I looked this up yesterday. Let's just look it up briefly again. Yeah, filters 3 and 4 look like they're centered approximately on 400 Hertz and 500 Hertz. Now that's not going to add terribly to the intelligibility. Filter 12 is best for that because it lets all the S's and T's and sibilant sounds through. But filters 3 and 4 are down at the low frequency end, so that should just give the sound a more rounded flavour, hopefully. So filter board 4 plugs into slot 4, filter board 3 plugs into there. Bit of detritus on that board as well. These got really mullered out in the shed over winter. Okay, so that sits there. This one takes filter boards 11. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about filter board 12 and the problem with it. So I discovered that the problem was a faulty dual op amp here, 1458 dual op amp. So that got replaced. Then I suspected, well, then the sound from the filter, or if that was indeed working, wasn't getting through to the rectification and smoothing stages. So I changed the socket here and then put a new op amp in with a new socket, because that was very much covered in this sort of muck. And then it still didn't work. And I thought, well, what's going on? All new chips, new socket here. This part of the board didn't get affected. I did test these diodes actually, because I was a little bit suspicious of anything which is a semiconductor. I also fitted the decoupling capacitors, as I mentioned in the last video. No, what the fault was, and it's really, I'll get in closer actually. It was this resistor, specifically this left-hand leg of it, because what I did was I built a sort of very makeshift signal tracer, which was something that audio people had as an essential tool in their toolkit, and all it is an amplifier. And I put my amplifier on there, and I could hear the very tinny sound of this high-frequency bandpass filter coming through on that point. Then, for some very odd reason, I put it on here, which you'd think would be pointless because there's a track running from there over to here, and it wasn't there. I couldn't hear it on that point there. So I could hear the sound on this leg of the resistor, but not at this point here. And I thought, well, it can't be a broken track because, I mean, look at it, it's fine and it's pretty thick. And what it was this resistor was soldered on the bottom, but there was no solder on the top. And although these are plated through holes, for some reason this hole didn't appear to have a working through plating. Now the plating through is, as I understand it, copper. This is coated in gold, but of course it's microscopically thin, it's hardly worth worrying about. And obviously there was a break in the through plating hole, so that although there was solder on the leg of the component and on the bottom pad, that bottom pad doesn't go anywhere, but the top pad of course runs over to the input of the rectification stage, and nothing was getting up onto the pad. So the leg of the component was going through the pad but not making contact with it, and there was solder inside the through plated hole but not actually making contact with the top pad. So the fix was simply to put solder onto the top pad so that the leg of the component is then electrically connected to that track running across to here. Now it was pure fluke that when I made my signal tracer, which as I say is just an amplifier, the very first point I put it on was there. I suppose because I wanted to listen to the output of this filter, and the output is the output pin on one of these op amps going to this resistor. One side of it was a bit loud and was causing feedback. This side was quieter, and then there was absolutely nothing there. But this was the very first position that I chose to put my signal tracer on, and I found this bizarre fault, which if I take one of these unpopulated boards, was simply the through plating in that hole wasn't making contact from the pad on the back, which is there and not connected to anything, and the pad on the top, which is there and runs along that track to this point here. Bizarre fault, but found actually really quickly, surprisingly quickly, and this is now fixed and working. But anyway, let's get it all set up and we'll have a listen to the vocoder with a full 10 filters. So here's the ribbon cable with the 16-pin IDC insulation displacement connectors on it, and this has 7 connectors because there are eventually 7 of these filter boards. So I'll miss out the first one there and then start connecting these. And this goes on the bottom of the board, and I did it so that there was, I think I wrote it somewhere, yeah, 2.6 inches between each connector. Now when these boards are on the front panel, they're actually 2.5 inches apart, so the idea is that there's a slight kink either that way or that way between the boards when they're fixed to the front panel in the final version of this thing. Okay, so I need 3 unused ones, and then this one will connect onto that part of the ribbon cable, and then I'll find the 3 intermediate ones and put them on these. Right, so that's all the filter boards on the ribbon cable, but there is another ribbon cable, and I'm not quite happy with this. For a start, these are 10-pin connectors, and the connectors on the boards are 8-pin. I just bought the wrong ribbon cable and connectors. Had it in my mind that it was 10 pins. I don't know how I got that wrong, but anyway, I've reordered some 8-way cable and 8-pin connectors. And I'm also not entirely keen on this idea where, because there are 2 connectors on each board and they're right at the edge of the board, it gives no space for any flexibility between the 2 connectors here. So I decided to loop them around so that you do have flexibility. You can, these are only 0.6 of an inch apart, I think, and if there was a piece of ribbon cable running between the 2, I don't know that it would have much flexibility if my placement of these on the ribbon cable wasn't terribly accurate, and it never is precise. But I'm just not happy with this, and this 1 meter cable actually doesn't have much sort of excess at the end of the cable because of all these loop backs, which take up a lot of ribbon cable. But anyway, I'll have a think about a new way of doing that when the new ribbon cable comes, but for the moment I'm just going to have to shove this on the board underneath. Now, as I remember it, pins 1 and 2 are not used, so it's whatever's connected to that red thing is not used. I think I'll stand these up actually. Oh gosh, that's not going to be terribly easy, is it? Oh yeah, they do stand up. And I'll stick this ribbon cable on with them stood up. Right, I've now got this set up so that it's all going through my sound card. Now you're hearing background buzzing because that's coming from the filters 3 and 4, which I've not plugged in, and 11 and 12. I could take these off, so let's take that one off. Because it is a bit horrible, let's take that one off and number 12 off. And now let me start adding in filters. Well, actually first I need to speak into the vocoder, so move my microphone away slightly. Okay, so speaking into the vocoder with only these central 6 filters fitted, it's a familiar sound, but now let's start adding the other filters to hopefully increase intelligibility. Let's work outwards actually. Filter 4. Okay, let's fit filter 4, which goes in there, and I need to plug in the link. That goes that way. Okay, so that now has the addition of filter 4, which has given a bit more low-end intelligibility. Let's now fit filter 11, which is that one. So I'll put the link on first so that you can hear the buzzing. That's that frequency. And now let's put the filter in. Now the buzzing will go away. And when I speak into the microphone, there should be some increased top end, and there is. Okay, now let's work downwards to filter 3. So let's put filter 3 in, which is this one. I'll put the link on first so you can hear the buzzing. That's that frequency. put the speech filter in. The buzzing goes away.
But then the vocoder should have that frequency added to the sound spectrum. Okay, now let's do the top one.
So now let's add on the link for filter 12, which is that, and put in the filter board.
And so now we should have a wider spectrum of sound. Now I'm actually going to turn my headset microphone right down, because I think there's enough. Can you actually hear that, number 12? I don't know. Let's take that one off. Yeah. If I go to an F sound. Yes, that's definitely being added to the mix. Okay, let's take off the tone and put up the noise. Now I think with noise, I should be perfectly easily understandable, because we're getting that high frequency S sound, and T should come across. She sells seashells on the seashore. Yeah, I think you can hear that this is much more intelligible. Let's go back to why is my phone Bluetoothed in? Yeah, that's what happened. My phone is Bluetoothed into the mixing desk thing. Okay, let's turn up the tone, and I'll try increasing the frequency of the tone. I do find myself speaking at the same pitch as the tone, which is really silly. I'll put some headset microphone on, and I find myself speaking like this, even though I don't need to. I should speak just completely normally. Okay, let's bring that tone back down again. Well, that's it. That's the vocoder with its 10 channels. Now there is...
I don't need to speak into that. There is going to be channel 13, which is even higher frequency than channel 12. Channel 2 down at this end, at the bottom, even lower frequency than channel 3. And then channel 1 is different and channel 14 is different. Channel 1 is low pass, so everything below a certain frequency comes through. And channel 14 is high pass, so that everything above a certain frequency comes through. But that's for the future, because there's a lot more work to be done on those boards. I'll show you actually. Here are the boards, and you can see that they are barely started. There's a few components on them which I did 4 years ago, but there's a lot more work to build those up. And the high pass and low pass filters are completely different circuit layouts, so that's going to be require some thought going into that. But I think from the point of view of today, let's turn my headset microphone down. That is about all I can do. So I'm going to say cheerio.